Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar. This is the unrehearsed creepypasta narrations, part 49. This is called "My Wife Won't Stop Sleeptalking" by Christopher Maxim. I think I already read one of his too. Posted September 11th, 2020. Estimated reading time 5 minutes. My wife and I moved into our new apartment just a few months ago. Before this, we lived in a large cottage overlooking a beautiful lake. It was my wife's dream home. For 3 years, we lived there. We didn't want to leave, but it was a necessary step for us. You see, Jessica and I used to live down south. Everything was going well for a while, but my law firm decided to promote me out of the blue. It was unexpected, but I couldn't have been more grateful. Unfortunately, the job entailed transferring to another one of our many branch locations. The one in question was in New England. We spoke long and hard on the matter, but eventually Jess agreed to the move. It's important to note that the dollar doesn't stretch as far up north as it does down south. It's also harder to find employment. That's why we were downgrading our living space. Until Jess could find another job, we would have to suffer. At least that's the way she looked at it. Tensions were high the first few weeks after the move. I could tell Jess was irritable. She missed our old house, our old friends, and working a steady job. She had nothing to do with all of her free time. So she was bored out of her skull. This led to many fights. For a while it seemed like we would never settle in. About a month after her move, things started looking up. Jess found temporary work as a part-time editor at the local TV station. She loved the work and couldn't have been happier with her coworkers. I couldn't have been happier for her. Everything seemed to be fine for a while. Not perfect, but fine. This was when the sleep talking began. It was to be expected, and honestly, I'm surprised it didn't start sooner. You see, my wife is a restless sleeper. Whenever there's a big change in her life, good or bad, it happened when we got married, when we moved into our first home, and when she had the miscarriage. I'll touch more on that later. Jess knows she sleep talks, because I would used to bring it up from time to time. I would laugh each morning, recalling the weird things she said the night before. This always made her uncomfortable. She seemed to be embarrassed by it. That's why after her first night of sleep talking in our new apartment, I didn't say anything. The sleep talking went on for a couple of weeks. It was at this time Jess's temp job at the TV station came to an end. Without a job to keep her mind off things, her nightly outbursts became much worse. She began screaming at odd times during the night, in which I would be forced to calm her down. Yeah, definitely have to tell her now. Like, it doesn't matter about like if she's going to be embarrassed, but you got to let somebody know they're screaming in their sleep. You kind of have to. One night, her screams turned into tears as she was crying. She said something I'll never forget. "I wish you were dead." Well, that's concerning. I knew my wife was asleep, but as I sat there by her side, calming her the best I could, I felt the need to press the matter. "You wish who were dead, hun?" To my surprise, she responded, "You." This caught me off guard. It's a strange thing to want your husband dead, and even stranger while you're asleep. "Why?" I asked. "You're ruining my life." Those 4 words cut deep. Whether they were meant or merely the product of a tired mind, they were the kind of words that demanded self-reflection. I wondered for a moment if I was truly ruining her life, or at least if I were to blame for her night terrors. My wife remained silent for the rest of the night. I know this because I stayed up. Contemplation and worry kept me from getting a good night's rest. I didn't believe for a second that my wife really wanted me dead, but her late-night antics were certainly a cause for concern. Between the screaming episodes and the morbid dialogue, this was the worst her condition had ever been. The next morning I came pretty darn close to telling her about what had happened, but I kept thinking about how she'd react and what she'd say. It was too much. I didn't want to burden her any more than I already had, especially after she'd just been laid off. I also didn't want to have another fight. In light of this, I kept my mouth shut. The following night the screams were gone. This was a comfort, but a fleeting one. Out of the blue, just as I was about to shut my eye and call it a night, the sleep-talking commenced once again. Why are you having to load, phone? We are already loaded into the story. Why is there a loading bar? Okay. Phone. What the hell is going on, man? Okay, well, I can at least see some of the rest of the story. So I'll continue while it seems to be loading something. Don't think I clicked an advertiser by mistake. I don't know. Sometimes I think about how I do it. I chalked this statement up to pure dream-induced nonsense. But then she continued, "While you're asleep in bed, I'll get up and go to the kitchen." I didn't know what she was talking about, but as she kept speaking it dawned on me. There were some moments of inaudible gibberish, but from the bits and pieces that were fluent, I could paint a pretty good picture of what she was describing. Reach into, grab knife, over and over again, blood oozing off the bed, can't ruin my life anymore. Yeah, this seems very concerning. My wife was describing her plan to murder me. As deeply unsettling as this was, I couldn't help but chuckle to myself. It was just a dream after all, nothing more. I can't say I haven't done some weird things in my own dreams. I've used kamehamehas in my dreams, and I've used the kaioken. I think we have different definitions of the word weird. Or at least maybe just everyone's got different motivations in life. I mean, you know that saying, like, all men want one thing, and it's disgusting. I want to be a Super Saiyan! You guys remember that from Team 4 Star? Vegeta, like, slamming his fist along that planet with the meteorites coming down? I want to be a Super Saiyan! I'm just saying, I've had dreams where I've used kamehamehas and kaioken and stuff, so... Okay, different motivations in life, I guess. I don't know. I mean, heck, take the stances used in the Street Fighter Assassin's Fist movie where they do the Hadoken stance, the katas. I actually bothered to learn that stuff. My wife was... Okay, where were we? Okay. Things I would never do in real life. Jess was... I want to shoot come out. Granted, I have to be careful where I aim a Kamehameha wave, but still. Also, it's like flying would be cool, but you also have to be careful about that. Use superpowers responsibly. Phone. Can't read through. Jess was mad at me over the move, and she was working out her frustrations while she slept. At least that's what I convinced myself. The sleep talking continued for a few weeks. I hope that Jess's midnight venting sessions were doing her some good, but without a degree in psychology, I couldn't be certain. All I could do was listen to her ramble about offing me each night and wait for her condition to run its course. The longest her sleeping tongue ever lasted was a month, so it was safe to say it would be over soon. A month passed then, too. Jess... Yeah, I would be concerned about this stuff, sir. And we're logged out. Well, we'll continue this in part 2. Because creepypasta.com seems to log me out at random times. Sometimes I feel like it's a timed thing, but I don't know. Anyway, we'll continue the story in part 2.